Stalin said the kulaks should be liquidated as a class. Over 3 million were shot, or died in exile or in the camps. The state seized the peasants' farm implements. And they took over all the land, which was now to be farmed collectively. But the peasants didn't want collectivization. They killed their livestock rather than give them up. And the state took the grain. The result was famine. Over 5 years, 7 million died of starvation. These were scenes that Bernard Shaw and other Western visitors did not see. Pelagaya Ovcharenko was almost taken by the body collectors.
3 people came to the house. 1 tended the horses. 2 were piling up corpses on the cart. They threw on my mother. They threw on my father. My father gestured to me. The man said, "He's almost ready, he's almost dead." When my father gestured, I knew I had to go and hide. The men swore. They couldn't find me because I'd crawled away on my hands and knees and hidden myself. Corpses were piled up like bales of straw. The men took the cart to a big hole and tipped the bodies in, regardless of whether they were dead or alive.
The terrible price was not mentioned when Stalin listed socialism's achievements in 1937.
На наших фабриках и заводах работает весь капиталист. Работают труженики фабрик и заводов. Руководят фабриками и заводами люди из народа. Это и называется у нас социализмом на деле. На наших полях работают труженики земли, без помещиков, без кулаков. Руководят этими работами люди из народа. Это и называется у нас социализмом в быту.
It was said Stalin's ovations were so long because no one dared to be seen as the first to stop clapping. For Stalin was not just using harsh methods to push through changes he thought were essential. He was obsessed with destroying all potential opponents. Stalin, the leader of the first workers' state, lived in reclusive comfort. And he felt insecure to him. One by one, the most senior communists who had transformation became his victims. Nikolai Bukharin Stalin to power, but then dared to criticize it. At first, Bukharin was isolated in his Kremlin flat with his young wife. He remained a loyal communist, even when the moment of arrest came.
Это было страшно, трагично.
It was terrifying, tragic. He literally fell down on his knees before me and asked forgiveness for ruining my life.
Сказал, что никогда, если бы он только мог себе представить, что так кончается его жизнь, он бы убежал меня за
He said that if he could ever have imagined that his life would end this way, he would have run as far as possible away from me. No matter how strong his love, he would have suppressed it. He asked me never to forget his letter, which is now called his testament, and without fail to bring up his son a Bolshevik. That's the kind of faith he had, a Bolshevik to the end.
Вот такая была вера. Обязательно большевиком.
Суд идет, прошу встать.
Bukharin's fate was sealed at one of a series of show trials, specially designed as propaganda events to create fear and instill obedience. The trials were a concoction of fake evidence and false accusations. So-called confessions were forced through torture and threats to the victims' families. Officials and journalists in the courtroom played their part in the drama. Boris Yefimov, who attended Bukharin's trial as a newspaper cartoonist, says he believed the confession he heard was genuine.
How could I doubt it if with my own ears I heard Bukharin describe himself as an enemy? How he had planned to overthrow Soviet power, to hand over the Ukraine to the Germans. How he told of his betrayal.
Свергнуть советскую власть, отдать Украину немцам, Приморье японцам, рассказывал про свою измену.
What would you have said in my place if you'd heard a man confess his crimes with your own ears?
Если вы своими ушами слышали, как человек признается в своих...
It was a kind of hypnosis.
Это был какой-то, так сказать, гипноз.
Вся наша страна, от малого до старого, ждет и требует одного. Изменников и шпионов, продавших врагу нашу родину, расстрелять, как поганых псов.
In his cartoons for Pravda, Yefimov obediently took up the prosecutor's description of the accused as vile dogs.
Это была у него какая-то фраза о том, что вот Троцкий и Бухарин это вот...
He'd used this phrase that Trotsky and Bukharin were one creature, a two-headed creature, the mad dog of fascism.
Две головы, но они, в общем, это одно и то же. Это...
It's an example of satire serving propaganda.
Фашизма. Вот это пример,
every simple, I won't say fool, but every simple person could understand it.
Я не скажу дураку, но каждому простому человеку это понятно.
Yefimov applauded when the death penalty was pronounced.
When they read out his death sentence, something snapped inside me. I felt that I'd changed, that the lights over our wonderful Soviet Union were extinguished.
Я чувствовала, что такое, я изменилась, померк и весь наш прекрасный Советский Союз.
Stalin's morbid paranoia grew. No one at any level, whether they were in the party. From his desk, the Great Terror was controlled and conducted. Secret police orders gave every region an arbitrary quota for the purges. Category 1 meant death. Category 2 meant the prison camps. But at times Stalin grew impatient. When he scribbled, "Give a supplementary quota of 6,000 people in the first category to Krasnodar," he was signing the death warrant for an extra 6,000 people. The purges struck many of the earliest enthusiasts for communism. Mikhail Mindlin in Category 2 was arrested and interrogated by the secret police in Moscow.
When the interrogation began, I was asked to sign lies about myself and good comrades from my region. They handed me a list of 47 people. They wanted to get me to sign a statement.